we are VIMTV Velocities Music. Today, guys, we're going to review, we're going to do two 90s throwback albums today. This is from 1999. It's of Montreal. It's entitled The Gay Parade. This album is, obviously I said it's of Montreal. We've reviewed two other of Montreal albums. We've reviewed Satanic Panic in the Attic, and we reviewed their new one, False Priest. And now we're going to do The Gay Parade. The Gay Parade is the album that put of Montreal on the map. And because this album has been heralded as one of, it is the modern day Sgt. Pepper of indie rock. That's what AllMusic has said about it when it came out. And I would agree with that assessment. The Gay Parade is a concept album. It's 16 tracks long. What was it, like 50, 55 minutes, somewhere in there?
Yeah, I don't even know if it's that long.
It might not have been that long.
A lot of the tracks are pretty short.
You know, and I feel like, and that's just it. This is an album. You can put it on, and you put it on start to finish, and it flows perfectly throughout. And I love it. And the concept is really kind of more of a childish, not childish, but a viewpoint of a childlike viewpoint of a community and specific people in a certain community. And it's a very kind of a bright way of looking at things. There's a lot of bright colors. The lyrics, this whole album is all about the lyrics. That is the first thing that you have to do when you start listening to this. Put it on so you get a feel for what the sound is if you haven't heard this before, and then go look up all the lyrics, because these lyrics are all stories of different characters that are in the Gay Parade, and they all come together at the final, main track, track 15, Nickee, Coco, and the Invisible Tree, is when the town kind of comes together, and maybe that's not all the characters of the song, of this story, of this concept album coming together, but it kind of is the one track where all these characters are interacting and part of the community. It really gives it this whole communal feel. You see the whole story arc kind of come together. And there's intros and outros, and it's just everything you want in a concept album, which I'm a big fan of. Now, Tom, and I've been listening to this album for years, and was really attached to it. Tom has listened to it before, but hasn't had the chance to really do a deeper dive into the Gay Parade. So, what'd you think?
I ended up really liking it, and it took a while, because at first, the songs, a lot of them just kind of sounded the same, because this has a very consistent, almost overly consistent feel throughout. And but once I got to know the melodies of each song, I mean, all these songs are good. And the Sgt. Pepper analogy is actually pretty close. I even, like, Old Familiar Way, right from the get-go, I could almost hear Paul McCartney singing that song. I swear to God. But just in how...
That would have been awesome.
And how rich it is and bright, with just all these melodies and different instrumentals, so much variety in this. And yet it does keep that consistent feel, and that's what I like about it. Now, getting to the lyrics, because this is the big meat of it, I feel like. Yeah. And it's not what it seems, which is really interesting, because it's this really bright, colorful, poppy album. Yet if you
sounding album, and the instruments and the sound.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you.
Yep.
But if you just read the lyrics, they're kind of dark.
They're very
There's
dark.
a lot of themes. A lot of the themes are like unrequited love.
Yeah.
Being crushed by your idol, someone you look up to. Wanting to give your life for something. Driving off of a cliff. Not being appreciated for the genius that you feel like you have. I mean, a lot of these are really big and deep and kind of depressing themes.
My Friend Will Be Me. That's my favorite track on this album. I mean, that track had a big impact on me when I was, going through a period of time, and it was like first year of college, and I'm just going through all these changes and stuff, and I just felt like, I was really kind of getting down, and here's this song that's just talking about how this guy is going through all these really down times, and then he's just realizing that, well, he's going to have to, his best friend will have to be him, he'll have to be his own friend, and that's, it's just... Themes like that are really easy to attach to and relate to, and are insightful and emotionally mature. And there's things that these themes that you really add to the quality of the album.
Yeah, and it's like you hear that and you're like, man, this is heavy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all in this la da 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 kind of facade.
Right.
So in a way, that,
which is a lot like Society.
Yeah, that juxtaposition, it's weird, and it's hard to tell what Kevin Barnes is going for with it, because you get to tracks like Neat Little Domestic Life, where it seems to be celebrating the everyday kind of blah of your routine, and a lot of that is what it is celebrating everyday life of the common person. But in a way, you get to that track, and you almost wonder if there's some sarcasm, if he's being slightly facetious and almost just kind of mocking and poking fun at how stupid everyday life is.
Which is because very easily you can see that, because Kevin Barnes is a crazy person.
and so because of that, it makes this album, there's so many layers to it, and there's so many different ways to listen to it. This could be the most uplifting thing or the most depressing thing, depending on when, what context, and who, who's listening to it. So it's crazy to think about it from that way, that he thought all of that through.
This is one of my favorite albums of all time. It's been on every list, albums, top 100, top 200 albums list that I've ever had. It's always been high on the list because I love it, and I always come back to it. I come back to it, at least annually a few times, or a period of a year. But I still have to sit there and put on the music critic hat and go, what is wrong with this? And the only thing that I can really come up with that I don't like about this album is pretty much the production. It's 1999, but yet the production is really rough. This is just when, laptops were becoming really popular. Laptops have been around, but they were becoming really popular in 1999. Everyone was getting them. And software technology was starting to rapidly increase as the advent of the internet came around. While this was not a major studio production, I think that the production still could have been better than what it was. Now, I don't think this at all hinders the album, because I think that the lo-fi production is what makes the charm of it so much more intrinsic.
The big thing for me, and I know I've talked to you about this, is I wish there would have been just one spot on the album where they bring the music down to the dark level of the lyrics, because it's always this bright poppy stuff, and all they needed is just one spot to just bring it down to earth.
30 seconds.
All of a sudden, just blow your mind, just crush the listener with this, and then get right back into the poppiness of it. And I feel like that would have exposed that point of the album and made that more apparent to the listener, and thus more effective.
Yeah, and I agree, that would have been really cool to see. But those are very minor criticisms. I think this album's definitely strong. You guys have to go check it out. If you haven't, please do, and tell us what you think. I'm going 96 on this. I love this album. Please check it out.
I'm going 88. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, which, this puts us in the 90s for us, and I think that this is one that deserves to be in that 90 category. So I'm hoping that you guys all, if you haven't listened to the Gay Parade, if you have, please leave us a comment. Tell us what your thoughts and experiences are with it. If you haven't, please go check it out and tell us what you think, because this is a really cool album. Definitely something that should be in all of our musical repertoire. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.